The vast expanse of space was no longer quiet. Across the galaxy, alien civilizations buzzed with activity. Ships darted between stars, carrying whispers of coming conflict. The air was thick with tension, like a rubber band stretched to its limit. In the grand halls of the Zarthian Empire, tall, blue-skinned aliens with 4 arms debated fiercely. Their emperor, Exarthal, stood at the center, his silver robes shimmering under the light of 3 moons visible through the crystal dome. "The Kreldor have gone too far," shouted one general, slamming his fist on the table. "They've taken 3 of our outer worlds. We must strike back." Tarthal raised a hand for silence. "And what of the Maikari? They grow stronger each day. We cannot fight a war on 2 fronts." In another part of the galaxy, the hive mind of the insectoid Maikari buzzed with plans. Their massive organic ships, each the size of a small moon, moved into position. Queen Zikara, her mind connected to every Maikari in existence, felt the excitement of her children. Soon, they would expand their territory, consuming all in their path. Meanwhile, on the desert planet of Krell Prime, the warrior race of Krellidor sharpened their blades. Their leader, War Chief Grok, stood before a sea of red-skinned, muscular soldiers. "The galaxy thinks us barbaric," Grok growled, his voice carrying across the assembled army. "Let them. While they talk, we act. While they plan, we conquer." The Krellidor roared their approval, the sound echoing across the barren landscape. As these major powers postured and prepared, smaller civilizations scrambled to pick sides or fortify their defenses. The Etheri, beings of pure energy, closed their borders, hoping to weather the coming storm. The aquatic Nautilians deepened their ocean bases, ready to dive into the darkest trenches if war came to their worlds. In all this chaos, one planet remained blissfully unaware. Earth, a small blue marble in an unremarkable arm of the galaxy, continued its daily routines. Humans went about their lives, arguing over petty politics, celebrating small victories, and dreaming of the stars. Little did they know, those stars were about to come crashing down around them. On a Zarthian recon ship, floating at the edge of the Sol system, Captain Zelvax watched the blue planet with mild curiosity. "Primitive," he muttered, tentacles twitching in amusement. "They haven't even colonized their own moon yet." His second-in-command, Aerolox, floated next to him. "Should we report their existence to High Command?" Zelvax waved a dismissive tentacle. "Why bother? They're no threat. No use to us either. Let them play in their little sandbox while the adults fight." With that, the Zarthian ship turned, its engines flaring as it prepared to jump to light speed. In moments, it vanished, leaving no trace of its presence. Back on Earth, a young astronomer named Sarah peered through her telescope. For a moment, she thought she saw a strange light near Jupiter. But when she looked again, it was gone. "Must have been a glitch," she murmured, returning to her star charts. As the galaxy geared up for war, Earth remained in peaceful ignorance. But the tides of conflict wait for no one. Soon, very soon, humanity would be thrust onto a stage they never knew existed. And when that happened, the galaxy would learn that sometimes the most dangerous players are the ones you never see coming. For now, though, the tension built. Armies gathered, fleets assembled, and in the dark spaces between stars, ancient powers stirred, ready to take advantage of the coming chaos. The galaxy held its breath, waiting for the first shot to be fired. When it came, nothing would ever be the same again. The night was quiet in the small town of Millbrook, Nebraska. Farmers slept soundly, dreaming of rain and good harvests. But high above, something was about to change everything. A Kreldor scout ship, damaged in a skirmish with Zarthian forces, limped through Earth's atmosphere. Alarms blared inside as the pilot, Grakthar, fought to control the dying vessel. "Blasted Zarthians," he growled, his red skin glistening with sweat. "This primitive planet will have to do." The ship streaked across the sky, a ball of fire descending rapidly. It crashed into a cornfield, carving a deep furrow in the earth. Miles away, Sheriff John Cooper was jolted awake by a call. "Sheriff, you better come quick," said a panicked voice. "Something's crashed in Old Man Johnson's field. It's like nothing I've ever seen." Within an hour, the crash site was swarming with local law enforcement and curious onlookers. The ship's hull, made of an unknown metal, gleamed under flashlight beams. "Keep everyone back," Sheriff Cooper ordered, his hand resting nervously on his gun. He'd seen plenty in his years, but nothing like this. As dawn broke, men in black suits arrived. They quickly took control, pushing back the locals and setting up a perimeter. "This is now a matter of national security," a stern-faced agent told Sheriff Cooper. "What you saw here, it never happened. Understand?" But it was too late. Photos and videos had already made their way online. Within hours, the crash was global news. In Washington, D.C., President Elena Martinez sat in an emergency meeting, surrounded by grim-faced generals and scientists. "So, it's true then?" she asked, her voice steady despite the weight of the moment. "We're not alone." Dr. Samantha Lee, a renowned astrophysicist, nodded. "The technology in that ship, it's centuries beyond ours. Maybe millennia." "And the pilot?" the president asked. A general cleared his throat. "Dead on impact, ma'am. The body is not human." As they talked, similar meetings were happening in capitals around the world. The truth could no longer be hidden. Humanity had made first contact. Meanwhile, in orbit, a cloaked Zarthian ship watched with growing alarm. "The humans have the Kreldor ship," Captain Zelvax reported to his superiors. "Our operation is compromised." Back on Earth, in a top-secret facility, engineers and scientists worked around the clock to understand the alien technology. Progress was slow, but every discovery was groundbreaking. Dr. Lee hovered over a strange device, her eyes wide with excitement. This could revolutionize our understanding of physics." Across the globe, reactions varied. Some celebrated this new era of human knowledge. Others feared what might come next. Religious leaders debated the implications for their faiths. Military strategists worried about potential threats. In China, a team of hackers worked tirelessly to breach American systems, hoping to steal information about the crash. In Russia, generals drew up plans for a possible space-based defense system. The United Nations called an emergency session. Representatives from every nation gathered to discuss humanity's next steps. As Earth buzzed with activity, news of the crash spread across the galaxy. The Zarthian Empire realized their mistake in ignoring the humans. The Kreldor raged at the loss of their scout ship. And the Mycari hive mind turned its vast intelligence towards this new potential threat. In the Galactic Council, an emergency session was called. "The humans cannot be allowed to advance," a Zarthian representative argued. "We must act now, before they become a real threat." But others counseled caution. "We know nothing about these humans," a wise Etheri pointed out. "Rushing to judgment could be disastrous." As the debate raged on, Earth continued its frantic efforts to understand its new place in the universe. In labs and bureaus, in factories and farms, humans worked with renewed purpose. For the first time in history, all of humanity was united by a single truth. They were not alone in the universe. And ready or not, they were about to enter a galactic stage. Little did they know, their actions in the coming days would send shockwaves across the stars, forever changing the fate of the galaxy. 6 months after the crash, Earth was a changed planet. Governments worldwide pooled resources into space research and defense. The International Space Station had been transformed into a makeshift watchtower, constantly scanning the stars for signs of alien activity. On a crisp autumn morning, that vigilance paid off. "We've got something," shouted Lieutenant Sarah Chen, her eyes glued to the monitor. "A ship, much larger than the Scout. It's on an approach vector." As news spread, the world held its breath. Military forces went on high alert. In homes and public spaces, people gathered around screens, waiting for news. The alien ship, sleek and silver, entered Earth's orbit. Unlike the aggressive entrance of the scout ship, this vessel's approach was calm and controlled. A message, transmitted on all frequencies and in perfect English, echoed across the globe. People of Earth, we come in peace. We are the Luminarians. We wish to speak with your leaders. In Washington, D.C., President Martinez straightened her jacket, her face a mask of calm determination. Let's hope they mean what they say, she murmured to her advisors. Because if they don't, God help us all. The meeting was set for neutral ground, the plains of Africa, where humanity first arose. As the Luminarian ship descended, a shimmering field of energy surrounded the area, preventing any unauthorized access. From the ship emerged beings of pure light, their forms vaguely humanoid but constantly shifting. The lead Luminarian, calling itself Ambassador Lux, approached the human delegation. We have watched your kind for centuries, Lux said, its voice a melodious hum. Your potential is great, but so is the danger you face. Over the next hours, the Luminarians revealed the truth. A massive galactic war was brewing, and Earth was squarely in its path. The Krellador and Zarthians fight for territory, Lux explained. The Mycari seek to consume all. We Luminarians strive for balance, but we cannot fight alone. President Martinez, speaking for humanity, asked the question on everyone's mind. Why us? We're centuries behind you technologically. Lux's form sparkled, a gesture that seemed like a smile. You underestimate yourselves, your adaptability, your creativity, your sheer determination. These are rare in the galaxy. With our guidance and your potential, we believe you can tip the scales. As discussions continued, scientists and engineers from around the world were brought in. The Luminarians began sharing knowledge. Faster than light travel, energy shields, weapons capable of destroying planets. But it wasn't one-sided. The Luminarians were fascinated by human art, music, and philosophy. They marveled at humanity's ability to find innovative solutions to problems. Your species thinks in ways we never considered, Lux admitted, studying the simple lever and fulcrum demonstration. Not everyone was convinced. Protests erupted in major cities, with some fearing this was the first step towards human enslavement. Others welcomed the alliance, seeing it as humanity's ticket to the stars. In secret bunkers, military leaders began planning Earth's defense. The Luminarians helped retrofit existing weapons with alien tech, turning simple missiles into galaxy-class threats. Meanwhile, in the far reaches of the solar system, hidden probes from various alien races watched the proceedings with growing alarm. A Zarthian commander reported back to his superiors. The humans have allied with the Luminarians. This changes everything. In the Mycari hive mind, plans were adjusted. The Queen decided Earth would need to be consumed sooner rather than later. The Krellador, still smarting from the loss of their scout ship, began mobilizing a battle fleet. We'll crush these humans, War Chief Grok growled, and take their world as compensation. As Earth prepared for war, the first human volunteers began training with Luminarian tech. Spaceships were constructed in massive, hidden facilities. The moon was transformed into a fortress, bristling with weapons. Humanity was stepping onto the galactic stage, ready or not. The next moves they made would send shockwaves across the stars, forever changing the course of the war. And in the vast, dark spaces between worlds, ancient powers stirred, sensing that the balance of power was about to shift dramatically. The galaxy watched and waited, wondering, would humanity be its savior or its doom? 1 year into the alliance with the Luminarians, Earth had transformed. Cities now sported gleaming towers of alien metal, while massive space elevators stretched into the sky. But it was in the hidden labs and factories where the real revolution was taking place. Dr. Samantha Lee stood before a holographic display, her eyes shining with excitement. Around her, a team of international scientists watched in awe. We've done it, she announced. We've not only replicated the Luminarian shield technology, we've improved it. The Luminarian ambassador, Lux, floated nearby, its light pulsing with curiosity. Improved? How so? Dr. Lee grinned. We've made it adaptive. It learns from each attack, growing stronger, and the power requirements cut in half. Lux's form shimmered, a sign of surprise. Remarkable. In all our centuries, we never considered such an approach. This scene was repeating across the globe. Humans, given access to advanced alien tech, were not content to simply copy. They questioned, experimented, and innovated. In a sprawling facility in the Sahara, engineers unveiled a new type of spacecraft. We call it the Chimera. The lead designer explained to a group of military officials. It combines Luminarian propulsion with a Krildor-inspired weapons system we reversed-engineered from the crash. But the real genius, it can change shape mid-flight. As the Chimera demonstrated its abilities, morphing from a sleek fighter to a bulky freighter, then to a stealthy reconnaissance vessel, jaws dropped. How soon can we put these into production? A general asked, eyes wide. Meanwhile, in a deep underground bunker in the Rocky Mountains, a team of hackers and AI specialists made a breakthrough. We've cracked it, exclaimed Jin, a young programmer. We can now intercept and decode Zarthian communications in real time. His supervisor, an older woman named Maria, nodded approvingly. Excellent. And the AI translation matrix. Jin's grin widened. It's not just translating. It's predicting. We can anticipate Zarthian moves before they make them. Across the planet, similar breakthroughs were happening daily. Humans took alien concepts and ran with them, pushing boundaries and finding connections that even the Luminarians hadn't considered. In orbit, the International Space Station had grown into a massive shipyard. Workers in Zerog suits assembled huge vessels, each incorporating technology from multiple alien races, all enhanced by human innovation. But it wasn't just in technology that humans excelled. Their strategies and tactics bewildered their alien allies and enemies alike. In a war room in Brussels, General Ahmed Hassan presented a battle plan that left the Luminarian military advisors stunned. "You want to use your sun's radiation as a weapon?" one asked, incredulous. General Hassan nodded. "Precisely. We'll lure the enemy fleet into position, then trigger a controlled solar flare. Our ships will be shielded, theirs won't." The Luminarians exchanged glances. Such a tactic had never been attempted in the long history of galactic warfare. As news of human advancements spread across the galaxy, reactions varied. The Zarthian Empire, once dismissive of Earth, now viewed it with growing alarm. The Kreldor, who had been planning an invasion, hastily revised their strategies. The Mycari hive mind buzzed with confusion and fear. In a secret meeting of the Galactic Council, representatives from various races debated the human issue. "They're advancing too quickly," a Zarthian diplomat argued. "At this rate, they'll surpass us all within a decade." A Kreldor warrior snarled, "Then we strike now, before it's too late." But an Aetheri elder cautioned, "Beware. Underestimating the humans has already proven costly. Who knows what other surprises they have in store?" Back on Earth, oblivious to the fear they were inspiring across the stars, humans continued their frantic work. Every day brought new discoveries, new weapons, new defenses. In her lab, Dr. Lee put the finishing touches on yet another groundbreaking project. "If this works," she murmured to herself, "we might just win this war before it even begins." As the first human fleets prepared to venture beyond the solar system, the galaxy held its breath. The age of human ingenuity had dawned, and nothing would ever be the same again. The day had finally come. Humanity was about to enter its first major battle in the Galactic War. The massive human fleet, led by the flagship Horizon, emerged from hyperspace at the edge of the Orion Nebula. Captain Maya Rodriguez stood on the bridge of the Horizon, her face set with determination. "All ships, report in," she commanded. One by one, The fleet captains confirmed their readiness. The humans were outnumbered 3-1 by the Zarthian forces, but they had surprise on their side. "Remember the plan," Maya said to her crew. "We're not here to fight fair. We're here to win." The battle began with a burst of light as the Zarthian fleet opened fire, but their energy weapons splashed harmlessly against the improved human shields. "They've taken the bait," Maya grinned. "Activate Operation Chameleon." In an instant, half of the human ships seemed to vanish. In reality, they had engaged their adaptive camouflage, a technology reverse-engineered from studying deep-sea creatures on Earth. The Zarthian commander, Zelvax, stared at his sensors in disbelief. Impossible. Where did they go? Before he could react, the invisible human ships reappeared behind the Zarthian fleet. Caught in a pincer move, the alien armada found itself under attack from both sides. But the humans weren't done surprising their foes. As the Zarthians scrambled to regroup, Captain Rodriguez gave her next order: launch the Fireflies. From the hangars of the human ships poured thousands of tiny glowing drones. Each one was barely larger than a human hand, but together they formed a swarm that darted between the Zarthian vessels. "What are those?" a Zarthian officer cried out. "They're too small to do any damage." He was wrong. The Fireflies, inspired by Earth's bioluminescent insects, weren't weapons themselves. They were decoys, designed to confuse the Zarthian targeting systems. As the alien ships fired wildly at the glowing swarm, the humans struck. Chimera fighters swooped in, morphing from sleek attack craft to heavy bombers and back again, keeping the enemy constantly off balance. On the Horizon's bridge, Dr. Samantha Lee monitored her latest invention. Solar flare ready in 3, 2, 1. A massive burst of energy erupted from a nearby star, carefully controlled by human technology. The Zarthian ships, their shields weakened by the ongoing battle, were caught in the wave of radiation. "Our ships are failing," Silvax shouted as systems across his fleet began to shut down. How did they do this? The battle raged for hours, but the outcome was never in doubt. Human ingenuity, combined with their unpredictable tactics, proved too much for the Zarthian forces. As the last enemy ship surrendered, a cheer went up across the human fleet. They had done it. Their first major engagement, and they had emerged victorious against a superior force. Captain Rodriguez allowed herself a small smile. "Send word to Earth. The Orion Nebula is ours." News of the human victory spread across the galaxy at light speed. In the halls of the Zarthian Empire, there was shock and disbelief. The Kreldor War Council fell into chaos as they tried to understand how their old enemies had been so thoroughly defeated. Even the Luminarians were stunned. Ambassador Lux communicated with its leaders. "We knew the humans had potential, but this is beyond anything we imagined." On 100 worlds, military strategists pored over reports of the battle, trying to understand the humans' tactics, but it was the Mycuri Queen who grasped the truth first. "These humans," she communicated to her hive, "they don't think like us. They don't fight like us. Every time we think we understand them, they change the rules." In the aftermath of the battle, as cleanup crews moved in and diplomats began negotiations, Captain Rodriguez gazed out at the stars. "This is just the beginning," she murmured. She was right. The Battle of Orion, as it came to be known, was a turning point. The galaxy had seen what humans could do, and nothing would ever be the same again. As news of their victory reached Earth, celebrations erupted worldwide. Humanity had taken its first steps into the galactic stage, and they had done so with a resounding statement: "Underestimate us at your peril." The war was far from over, but one thing was clear. When humans entered the war, the galaxy trembled in fear. In the weeks following the Battle of Orion, the galaxy buzzed with news of the human victory. On countless worlds, in space stations, and aboard starships, the same questions echoed. Who were these humans? How had they defeated the mighty Zarthian fleet? On the Kreldor homeworld, War Chief Grok paced in his war room, his red skin dark with anger. "Show me again," he growled to his advisors. A hologram flickered to life, replaying scenes from the battle. Grok watched as human ships seemed to appear and disappear at will, as tiny drones confused Zarthian sensors, as a star itself became a weapon. "Impossible," he muttered, but fear crept into his voice. The Kreldor had been planning to invade Earth. Now, Grok wasn't so sure. In the depths of space, the vast organic ships of the Mycari hive clustered together. The Mycari queen, her mind linked to millions of her children, pondered the human threat. These creatures, she thought to her hive, they do not fight like the others. They do not think like the others. They are unpredictable. For the first time in millennia, the Mycari felt something akin to fear. Meanwhile, on neutral worlds across the galaxy, opinions were shifting. On the water world of Aquarius, the Nautilian Council debated their stance. "The humans have proven themselves," argued one counselor, his tentacles waving. "Perhaps an alliance with them would ensure our safety." Similar discussions were happening everywhere. Species that had once dismissed humanity now sought to establish diplomatic relations. Back on Earth, the mood was triumphant but focused. In a high-security briefing room, military leaders and scientists gathered to plan their next move. General Hassan pointed to a star map. "The Zarthians are in disarray. Now's our chance to push them back further." Dr. Lee nodded, but cautioned, "We should expect them to adapt. They'll be studying our tactics, trying to find weaknesses." President Martinez, looking tired but determined, spoke up. "Then we'll need to stay one step ahead. What's our next innovation?" As they planned, human diplomats were spreading across the galaxy. On the crystalline world of Lumina, home of the energy beings, Ambassador Sarah Chen met with the Luminarian High Council. "Your victory was unexpected," the Luminarian elder said, its light pulsing with curiosity. Sarah smiled. "Humanity has a long history of beating the odds. Now let's discuss expanding our alliance." But not everyone was pleased with humanity's rise. In the shadows of the galactic core, the ancient void collective stirred. These beings, made of dark matter, had watched galactic civilizations rise and fall for eons. "The humans disrupt the balance," they whispered in their unknowable language. They must be contained. Unaware of the forces aligning against them, humans continued to push forward. Colonies were established on distant worlds. New ships were launched, each more advanced than the last. On a frontier planet, newly settled by humans, a young girl named Zura looked up at the alien sky. "Do you think we'll meet friendly aliens?" she asked her father. He smiled, but his eyes were serious. "I hope so, sweetheart. But if they're not friendly, we'll be ready." As word of human achievements spread, so did the stories. In seedy spaceports and glittering alien capitals, tales of human bravery and ingenuity were told and retold, growing with each telling. "I heard they can read minds," whispered one alien to another in a crowded bar. "That's nothing," replied his companion. "I heard they can bring their dead back to life." The stories were exaggerated, but they served a purpose. With each retelling, the legend of humanity grew, and with it, the fear of those who might stand against them. In the Zarthian Empire, now in turmoil after their defeat, the younger generation was pushing for change. "We can't beat the humans with our old ways," a young Zarthian argued in a public forum. "We need to learn from them, adapt like they do." As the galaxy watched and waited, humanity prepared for their next move. In shipyards and laboratories, on training grounds, and in diplomatic chambers, the human race worked tirelessly. They had made their mark on the galactic stage. Now they aimed to secure their place among the stars, no matter the cost. The fear was spreading, but so was hope. For better or worse, the age of humanity had begun. 5 years had passed since humanity's first major victory. The galaxy was locked in a struggle that would determine its fate for millennia to come. And at the center of it all stood the human race, no longer newcomers, but key players in this cosmic drama. Admiral Maya Rodriguez, once captain of the Horizon, now led the combined fleet of Earth and its allies. She stood on the bridge of the massive flagship Unity, a testament to cooperation between species. Around her, humans worked alongside Luminarians, reformed Zarthians, and even some Kreldor defectors. Status report. Maya commanded, her voice steady despite the weight of responsibility. A young lieutenant, his skin glowing softly like a Luminarian, but with human features, responded, "The Mycari Hive Fleet has been detected, Admiral. They're moving towards the Centauri system." Maya nodded grimly. This was it. The final push. Across the galaxy, battles rage. The Kreldor, their empire crumbling from within, fought desperately against human-led forces. The Zarthian Empire, now allied with Earth after a peaceful revolution, defended key worlds against the Void Collective's dark matter ships. But the greatest threat came from the Mycari. Their vast, organic vessels had consumed entire star systems, growing stronger with each victory. Now they aimed to devour humanity's home. "All ships, prepare for jump," Maya ordered. "We stop them here, or Earth falls." As the fleet moved out, on Earth itself, final preparations were underway. Dr. Samantha Lee, her hair now streaked with gray, worked feverishly in her lab. "It has to work," she muttered, adjusting a device that pulsed with energy. "It's our last hope." President Martinez, serving her final term, addressed the world. "Citizens of Earth, of all our colonies and allies, this is our moment. Whatever happens, know that humanity faced this challenge united, with courage and innovation." In space, the battle erupted with a fury never before seen. Human chimera ships darted between massive Mycari organic cruisers. Luminarian energy beams lanced across the void, while Zarthian carriers launched swarms of fighters. Admiral Rodriguez watched the chaos, issuing orders calmly. "Group Alpha, flank their left. Beta, draw their fire. Gamma, prepare the solar lance." But even with all their advancements, the Allied fleet was being pushed back. The Mycari were too numerous, too powerful. "Admiral," the officer shouted, "we can't hold them. They're breaking through." Maya's face was grim, but determined. "Initiate Protocol Omega. Get me Dr. Lee." On the main screen, Samantha's tired face appeared. "It's ready, Maya. But we only get one shot." "Understood." Maya took a deep breath. "All ships, fall back to Earth. We make our stand there." As the battered fleet retreated, the Mycari pressed their advantage. Their queen, certain of victory, pushed her children forward. "Consume them all," she commanded. "Let the galaxy know our hunger." But this was what humanity had planned for. As the Mycari entered Earth's solar system, Dr. Lee activated her device. Suddenly, every star in 1,000 light-year radius pulsed in unison. The fabric of space itself seemed to ripple. The Mycari ships faltered, their organic systems overwhelmed by the surge of energy. In that moment, humanity struck. Beams of concentrated stellar energy lanced out from Earth, from the Moon, from Mars and Venus. Each beam struck a Mycari ship, not destroying it, but altering it at a fundamental level. The Mycari queen screamed in agony and confusion. Her children were changing, evolving in seconds. Their hunger was being rewritten. "What? What have you done?" she cried out. Admiral Rodriguez, her voice firm, responded, "We've given you a choice. Your hunger now can be satisfied by barren worlds, by asteroid fields. You no longer need to consume the living." As the energy faded, the Mycari fleet hung motionless. For the first time in their existence, they felt peace. Across the galaxy, news of the Mycari's transformation spread. The Void Collective retreated to the shadows. The remaining hostile forces, seeing their strongest ally change, sued for peace. On the Unity's bridge, Maya allowed herself a small smile. "Send word to Earth. It's over. We've won." as celebrations erupted across countless worlds, human